Actually, I was taking lessons not long ago in the hope that
Shut
one
up
day I
and
might...
dance!
Uh-oh.
Inspector Gadget wasn't just a kids' movie adaptation. It was a $90 million corporate nightmare that literally killed two companies and left careers in ruins. Behind that iconic trench coat were executive wars fought with different colored scripts, 40 minutes of carnage left on the cutting room floor, a production designer's mysterious death during filming, and Matthew Broderick delivering the most emotionless performance in cinema history. What looked like slick Disney magic on screen was often barely contained chaos behind the scenes. Here are 20 insane facts about Inspector Gadget, from studio executives losing their minds to Don Adams getting snubbed by his own character's movie and a villain cameo that broke every copyright rule in Hollywood. Go-Go Gadget disaster. Number 1. This movie literally killed two companies. Inspector Gadget was the final film produced by Caravan Pictures before the company merged into Spyglass Entertainment. But here's the twisted part. Due to the failure of this movie, Disney sold DIC Entertainment to Cinar, and both companies were eventually folded into Cookie Jar Group in 2008. One single film managed to destroy two entire entertainment companies. The movie that was supposed to launch a franchise instead became a corporate graveyard. Caravan Pictures never produced another film. DIC Entertainment, the company that created the beloved cartoon, was sold off like damaged goods. Sometimes one bad movie really can end everything. Number 2. 40 minutes of pure carnage hit the floor. The film's original test screening was 110 minutes long, nearly 2 hours of Inspector Gadget madness. Over 40 minutes were brutally cut from the final film, which explains the choppy editing that made no sense. The original cut included McDonald's product placement gags and Gadget singing Oklahoma while coming back to life in a trash heap. Most of the final film included ADR dialogue desperately trying to bridge cut scenes and change character motivations. Imagine sitting through that original cut. It was apparently so chaotic that Disney executives panicked and started cutting everything. The deleted scenes were reportedly too dark and weird for Disney's family-friendly image. Number 3. Executive hell. Scripts on different colored paper. Rupert Everett called it the $100 million mess in his memoir. He wrote that behind the scenes lurked a panel of executives, each with their own theory and agenda. A string of writers had written version after version, each adding to scripts on different colored paper, each one losing the plot a little more. By the end, they had managed to render the thing utterly meaningless. Red paper, blue paper, yellow paper. Each color represented another writer's attempt to fix an unfixable script. The rainbow of screenplay drafts became a symbol of Hollywood's inability to understand its own source material. Pure executive chaos in Technicolor. Number 4. The $30 million loss. Nobody talks about. The film grossed $134 million worldwide against a $90 million budget. Sounds successful, right? Wrong. When marketing and distribution costs were factored in, the studio lost approximately $30 million. Despite making more than its production budget, the movie was considered a financial disaster. Disney had spent a fortune promoting what critics universally agreed was garbage. The marketing budget alone was nearly as much as the production cost. Box office numbers lied. This was a massive corporate failure disguised as a modest success. Hollywood accounting revealed the brutal truth. Inspector Gadget was a money-burning machine that couldn't be stopped. Number 5. A star-studded casting nightmare. Before Matthew Broderick was cast, an insane list of A-listers were considered for Inspector Gadget. Jim Carrey, Steve Martin, Chevy Chase, Brendan Fraser, Kevin Kline, Steve Carell, Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, Mike Myers, Jay Moore, Jerry Seinfeld, Mel Gibson, Dana Carvey, Michael Keaton, Adam Sandler, and Robin Williams. Imagine Robin Williams as Inspector Gadget. Any of these actors could have brought actual personality to the role. Instead, Disney chose the most emotionally flat actor possible. The casting process took months because nobody wanted to touch the script. Smart actors read the different colored pages and ran for the hills. Broderick apparently didn't run fast enough. Number 6. Death stalked the production. The film was dedicated to production designer Michael White, who died on January 19, 1999, during filming at age 36. White had worked on major films like Armageddon, The Rock, and Crimson Tide. He was found dead at his West Los Angeles home while the movie was still in production. The cast and crew had to continue filming while grieving their colleague. Nobody talks about how his death affected the film's tone and completion. The tragedy hung over the entire production like a dark cloud. White's death became another layer of chaos in an already chaotic production. Even death couldn't stop this corporate machine from grinding forward. Number 7. Don Adams got brutally snubbed, then delivered his swan song. Don Adams, the original voice of Inspector Gadget, was alive during filming, but didn't even get a cameo in his own character's movie. the ultimate insult to the man who created the character's iconic voice. However, Adams did voice Brain the dog in the end credits, his final performance as anything Inspector Gadget related before retiring in 1999. This tiny, almost invisible cameo was literally his swan song. Disney completely ignored the actor who made Inspector Gadget famous. Adams died 6 years later, having been reduced to a dog bark in the credits of his own character's film. The man who was Inspector Gadget became a footnote in his own legacy. Number 8. Matthew Broderick, completely wrong for everything. Matthew Broderick delivered lines in such an emotionless, deadpan way that it became unintentionally hilarious. The background score injected more emotion into scenes than Broderick did. Critics universally agreed he was completely miscast, delivering the same dull, disinterested, and static performance he gave in every other role. Broderick approached Inspector Gadget like he was reading a grocery list. His performance was so flat that it made the cartoon character seem more human. Even the Gadget-mobile showed more personality. Broderick's casting remains one of Hollywood's most baffling decisions. He turned a potentially fun character into a walking sedative. The man had zero Gadget energy. Number 9. The infamous Wowzer controversy that enraged fans. In the scene where Gadget sneaks into Claw's hideout and finds robot parts, he says Wowzer instead of the cartoon's iconic Wowzers. This single word change sparked worldwide fan outrage and became a symbol of how little the filmmakers cared about the source material. Fans went ballistic over one missing letter. Internet forums exploded with angry posts about this betrayal of Inspector Gadget's character. The controversy proved that fans were paying closer attention to details than the actual filmmakers. Disney couldn't even get the character's catchphrase right. That missing S represented everything wrong with Hollywood's attitude toward beloved cartoons. One letter destroyed decades of goodwill. Number 10. Rupert Everett's bitter Hollywood reality check. Rupert Everett wasn't just disappointed, he was disgusted. His memoir detailed the elongated days of shooting where nothing made sense anymore. He openly criticized the chaotic production that rendered the script utterly meaningless. Everett described watching Hollywood's machine destroy any creative vision through committee interference. The British actor couldn't hide his contempt for the entire process. His behind-the-scenes stories revealed a production in constant crisis mode. Everett's honesty about the filming experience became more entertaining than the actual movie. He watched his career temporarily derail in real time and documented every painful moment. Even villains have standards. Number 11. The greatest villain cameo ever assembled. During the Minions Anonymous scene in the credits, Disney somehow legally assembled villains from multiple franchises for one epic gag. The henchmen included Mr. T and Richard Kiel, Jaws from James Bond movies, front and center. Hidden throughout the scene were tributes to Oddjob, Kato from Green Hornet, and Kato from the Pink Panther movies. Disney's lawyers worked overtime clearing rights for this 30-second joke. The cameo scene became more legendary than the entire movie. Fans discovered new villain references with each viewing. This brief credits sequence showed more creativity than the previous 78 minutes. The legal nightmare of assembling these characters was probably more exciting than filming the actual movie. Number 12. The director's infamous resume. From hell. Director David Kellogg's previous credits were absolutely wild and not mentioned in any marketing materials. Before Inspector Gadget, he had directed Cool as Ice, starring Vanilla Ice, 11 Playboy videos, and the 1994 television movie Lusty Liaisons 2. From softcore porn to children's entertainment. What a career trajectory. Kellogg hasn't directed a feature film since Inspector Gadget, which tells you everything about how this turned out. Disney somehow thought the director of Vanilla Ice's career-ending disaster was perfect for their family franchise. The studio buried his resume deeper than the deleted scenes. His filmography reads like a joke, but Disney wasn't laughing after the box office numbers came in. Number 13. Product placement gone absolutely insane. The shameless product placements were legendary. Yahoo, Kodak, Tommy Hilfiger, Sony, RCA, JVC, Forbes, Gateway 2000, Nike, Energizer, Crayola, Pez, Magic 8 Ball, Coca-Cola, Surge, Sprite, McDonald's, Skittles, M&M's, Toyota, and even The Simpsons. The Gadget-mobile was literally a vending machine on wheels. During one scene, Gadget presses a McDonald's button and fries shoot out of his gadgets. The deleted scenes included even more McDonald's gags that were too ridiculous for the final cut. Disney turned Inspector Gadget into a walking advertisement for corporate America. The product placement budget probably exceeded the special effects budget. Every scene felt like a commercial break that never ended. Number 14. The deleted chaos too wild for Disney deleted scenes were reportedly too dark for Disney's family-friendly image. One showed Robo-Gadget's severed head sitting in ice next to fish heads in an outdoor market. Another featured Robo-Gadget throwing a phone booth while someone inside tried to call 911 to report him. These scenes were apparently too violent and disturbing for a children's movie. Disney executives realized they had accidentally funded a horror film disguised as family entertainment. The deleted footage sounds more interesting than anything in the final cut. Somewhere in Disney's vault lies a darker, more twisted version of Inspector Gadget that might actually be watchable. The censored chaos became legendary among film buffs. Number 15. The inappropriate innuendo that almost stayed. There were unnecessary sexual innuendos throughout the film, including a scene where Gadget gets aroused near Brenda and shoots a missile from his hat. In a deleted scene, Gadget replies, "That's never happened to me before." Disney executives somehow thought a cyborg having a mechanical erection was appropriate for children. The joke was crude, obvious, and completely out of place in a family film. Someone wrote this into the script, someone approved it, someone filmed it, and someone almost left it in the final cut. The fact that this made it as far as it did reveals the complete lack of oversight during production. Even the deleted sexual humor was embarrassingly bad. Number 16. The Stinkers Awards Massacre. At the 1999 Stinkers Bad Movie Awards, Inspector Gadget received 5 nominations: Worst Picture, Worst Director, Most Painfully Unfunny Comedy, Worst Resurrection of a TV Show, and Least Special Effects. The film swept multiple categories for cinematic failure. These awards celebrated the worst of Hollywood, and Inspector Gadget dominated the competition. The Stinkers Awards were brutally honest about Hollywood's disasters, and this movie provided plenty of ammunition. Getting nominated for Most Painfully Unfunny Comedy is almost impressive in its awfulness. The awards ceremony probably had more laughs than the actual movie. Inspector Gadget achieved legendary status in the worst possible way. Number 17. The sequel that pretended the first movie never happened. Inspector Gadget 2 was a 2003 made-for-video sequel with French Stewart replacing Matthew Broderick. Only D.L. Hewley returned as the voice of the Gadgetmobile. Broderick refused to come back, and the sequel completely ignored the first film's storyline. The sequel was so ashamed of the original that it basically started over from scratch. French Stewart brought more personality to the role in straight-to-video hell than Broderick did with a $90 million budget. The sequel's existence proved that even Disney knew the first movie was unredeemable. Stewart's Inspector Gadget was actually more faithful to the cartoon character. Sometimes rock bottom leads to slight improvement. Number 18. The Lost Media Holy Grail. The original 110-minute test screening cut has become the holy grail of lost media. It was significantly different from the theatrical release, containing the 40 minutes of deleted chaos that might actually explain the plot. Fans have been begging Disney to release the director's cut for over 20 years through online petitions. The lost footage has achieved mythical status among film buffs and bad movie enthusiasts. Disney keeps the original cut locked away like a dirty secret. The deleted scenes might be terrible, but they can't be worse than what was released. The lost cut represents everything the movie could have been. Probably still bad, but at least coherently bad. Number 19. Don Adams' tragic final bow. Don Adams retired from voicing Inspector Gadget in 1999, the same year this movie was released. His cameo as Brain's voice in the credits was his last Inspector Gadget performance before his death 6 years later. The man who created Inspector Gadget's iconic voice was reduced to barking like a dog in his own character's movie. Adams watched Hollywood butcher his life's work and then quietly disappeared from the franchise. His retirement coinciding with the film's release wasn't a coincidence. It was a statement. The original Inspector Gadget voice actor died knowing his character had been murdered by corporate incompetence. Adams deserved so much better than this cinematic grave. Number 20. The cultural impact. Nobody expected. Despite being universally panned, the film clawed back its production budget through home video sales. The Minions Anonymous scene became a cult classic among film buffs who appreciated the villain cameo madness. Online petitions still demand Disney release the original cut, proving that sometimes the worst movies generate the most passionate fandoms. The film inadvertently created one of cinema's most legendary villain reunion scenes for a joke lasting less than 30 seconds. Bad movies often develop cult followings, but Inspector Gadget's failure became genuinely fascinating to study. The movie succeeded at being memorably terrible instead of just terrible. Sometimes disasters become more interesting than masterpieces. It started as Disney's attempt to launch a franchise and ended up killing 2 companies, traumatizing a beloved voice actor, and creating one of Hollywood's most expensive disasters. But somehow, that disaster became more entertaining than most successful movies. If you're into weird Hollywood failures and behind-the-scenes chaos that makes you question how movies ever get made, hit subscribe. We're just getting started with cinema's most expensive mistakes.